Hi everybody, welcome to the Actors Academy. Thank you for tuning in today. Today we're going to be talking about believability and how you can go about and practice your believability. Everyone, if you're an actor, wanting to become an actor, wants to be believable. Nobody wakes up saying, hey, I wish today I can be really fake and have my acting not be real. We all want it to be real. How we practice being real, though, is very different. There's a lot of actors out there who I ask them, I say, okay, how do you practice your believability? What do you do? They say, well, I have these scenes that I work on and I just, I read the scenes aloud over and over and over. And I go, well, okay, that's a start. You're trying, you're putting in effort, but that doesn't necessarily work on you building believability for yourself the best that you can. More so maybe for memorization purposes, that might be fine. That's a little bit guerrilla styling it, but really you're trying to work on your believability and we need to have a practice that we can go about in order to improve our believability the best that we can. So I'm going to be giving you guys a practice today. It's super easy, super simple to implement that you can start doing today. The important thing to realize though with this is that it is still a practice. You have to actually work and practice it. With acting, it's not just something that you can do. If you're not really good at it right now or it's tricky and it's hard, even if I give you one amazing tip today, you're not going to be great tomorrow probably. It's going to take you time and effort. And that's not just for you, that's for anybody because it's not easy. It is a tricky thing sometimes. So part of this process, I like to think about it as you're becoming your own coach, your own mentor, because you're going to be watching yourself and observing yourselves. How this practice is going to work for working and building your believability is you're going to get your phone out, you're going to put it up, and you're going to record yourself doing a monologue. You could also do a scene, but the scene's a little bit trickier because you would have to have another person there. You're going to have to rely on another person. Your life will probably be easier if you just do the monologue because then you have to schedule with the other person or the other person doesn't want to record with you. There's a lot of different things that can go on. So let's just say for this example, I'm going to pick a monologue. You could do a scene, but it's going to make your life harder. So let's just say it's a monologue because that's going to be a little bit easier on you. What you're going to do is you're going to be recording yourself. This exercise is going to work for a few different reasons. One of the reasons it's great, this is just happens to be a byproduct of it, but it's just the fact that you're recording yourself. You're going to get used to being in front of the camera. As an actor, you really can't get away from the camera. It has to become your best friend. For a lot of people, it's weird and it's awkward. It's kind of like when you go and you record a voicemail on your phone, you listen back to it, like, oh, that sounded really weird. I didn't know I sound like that or do that or had that cadence in my voice. It's going to be the same thing. It's going to be awkward, this whole practice of recording yourself. I'm just going to say it right now because you don't only have your voice that you're going to be listening to, you're also going to have your physicality, your eye contact, wherever you're looking. There's going to be a lot of stuff happening, and it's going to be weird. The important thing is, please, please, please do not feel alone in that process because you will not be the only person. There will be a lot of other people who are going to implement this, practice this, and they're going to feel just like you. I was in the exact same spot. I wasn't any special person going, oh, this was just super easy. It didn't feel awkward at all. It was weird. It was awkward. A lot of people feel that way. Even celebrity actors. Johnny Depp hates watching himself because it's weird. It is an awkward process. If we can make the camera, though, our best friend, our acting will tend to be better because our walls of nerves and scared and feeling weird about the whole thing will drop. If those drop, our acting naturally tends to be just a little bit better. So that's the byproduct of this, just going through this process. And that's a good thing. It's a good thing to know what that byproduct is so we know it's a factor that's actually being worked on. Maybe there's other things that we can do to improve that too along the way sometimes. How this main process of this exercise will work, though, it's going to be you recording yourself and you're going to be critiquing your own work. How it will work is this. It's a very specific process, and I'll tell you at the end how much to do it, how long to do it for, and all that. How this process is going to work is you're going to have your phone up, you're going to record yourself doing your monologue. You're going to record it 5 times. Don't watch yourself doing any of the takes, though. Don't record it once, and then you're like, okay, I recorded it once, now I'm going to go watch it, record it again, and watch it. Don't do any of that. Just get a good 5 solid different takes. You do it once, good, you stop it, push record again, you do it again. Just doing it 5 times, super easy. What you're going to do next is you're going to get a pen and paper out, and you're going to watch each clip, starting with number 1. You're going to watch number 1, and what I want you guys to do, I want you to write out everything that wasn't working, everything that was wrong with it, everything that just was kind of weird, that wasn't working, that seemed fake. That's what you're going to do. You're going to do the same thing for number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. This process can be very, very tricky and weird. Again, having the camera in front of you is an awkward process. Maybe as you're going through this, when you watch those takes back, you found, oh, I had my physicality all weird for these things. It wasn't real. It wasn't believable. Could be because you're scared, just could be because that's how your acting is at the moment. What you're going to do now, though, is you're going to go through each one of those clips where you wrote down what wasn't working, and then you're going to find the commonality. So you're going to find from clip 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, what was the through line, what was something that wasn't working. Let's say, for example, it was your voice per se. And let's say it was that you were talking too loud. Don't try and necessarily critique the tone of your voice, how your voice actually is. Don't get subconscious of that. Maybe what you're focusing on, though, is how loud you actually were. For example, maybe you made it more theater-like. The person you're talking to is right here. You're recording your monologue. The person's right here. But you're talking as if they're a mile away. You don't want to do that. And you're not trying to fill up a whole space. You're just trying to talk to the person here. So instead of having the lines and going, hey, how are you doing? Instead, you're going, hey, how are you doing? It's too loud. It's too much. You're like, okay, so what you do, you find out that's the through line. It's the voice. It's too loud. Then you're going to record yourself 3 more times. You're not going to watch them until after you've finished doing your 3rd take. What you're doing now is you're working now for these 3 takes on the voice. Because you found out what wasn't working when you did those 5 takes. The through line that wasn't working, again, your voice was too loud. It wasn't working. So that's what you're focusing on here. You're saying, okay, it was too loud here. Let me bring it down. Let me see how I do it. And let's say for this one, let's imagine you just brought it down too soft. Maybe when you try to bring it down, you didn't bring it down at all. It's too loud. Whatever. For this exercise, let's just say that it ends up being too soft. So then now you're here and you're going, hey, how's it going? What's up? Now you brought it down too low. Okay, well now what you have to do is you have to write that down. So you go through take 1, you say, oh, okay, well, that was too low. That just sounds weird. It doesn't seem like me at all. You write that down. You watch clip number 2. Oh, I did it in number 2. Still too low, too low. Then you're going to go and record another 3 takes. So now you figured out when you did these 3, it was too low. Now you got to bring it up a little bit. So now you're going to go and, okay, you record yourself 3 times. Now you watch, and you're going to go through this process doing the best that you can with it. Is it going to be perfect after one day? No, it's not. And you shouldn't hold yourself up to that high of standards either. It is going to take some time. It is practice. But hopefully you're improving and you're getting better along the way. Just remember, keep going back to that example of being a concert pianist. You want to be a concert pianist after having 1 lesson? Are you going to be great tomorrow? No, it's still going to take some time, but you're doing what you need to in order to get better. But at least through this process, maybe you will see results. Maybe you'll find, oh, okay, I am seeing that my voice is sounding now a little bit better as I record myself. Now, you don't want to do this too much where you beat it to death and then you're getting overly self-conscious of what you're doing. If you can keep working on this, then great, but usually what tends to be good is maybe you work on it a total of 9 times. So what happened was you had those 5 that you did. Then you did it 3 times, you went, you wrote it all down, you were working on your stuff, and okay, then you do it another 3 times trying to work on what you just wrote, and then you do it 1 more 3rd time, working on what you just wrote. Then, usually what I would do and what I suggest would now be going back to that original list from when you had your initial 5 takes. You go back to that original list, and now you see, okay, what was something else? What was another through line here that wasn't working, that was kind of weird? And let's say that it comes down now, maybe it's physicality, or it could be eye contact, it could be anything. For the purpose of this exercise, let's say it's physicality. So let's say your physicality was too big, you were too much, you were overdoing everything. So if you had the line, you were talking to the person, you went, hey, how are you doing over there? It's too much. It's too random, too wild. So then you say, okay, physicality, wrote it down, it was too big. So now what you're going to do is you're going to go through and you're going to go through them 3 more times, working on the physicality because you know, okay, it was too big, let's make it a little bit smaller. And then you find through this process, now through these 3 times, what wasn't working in there with the physicality. Notice that when we're going through this, we're not trying to do it all at once. I'm not trying to do the physicality and the voice at once and anything else that was going on at once. I'm just focusing on the problem at that moment. If you try to do too many things at once, you're overextending yourself. So what you want to do is just focus on one thing. So you just go through that process and you go probably mainly for a total of 9 times. You can increase it if you want, but I find what usually works better for actors in this process is just going through it 9 times and then going on to the next thing, that initial list that wasn't working out. So now, how long do you practice this? What do you do? How do you get the best practice out of this. In order to get the best practice out of this, first make sure that the monologue that you're choosing is something more relatable to you. So for example, if you are a high schooler, then it's okay to pick a high school scene where you're talking to your friend about the homework that you don't like. You don't like the homework that you have to do. That's fine. That's relatable to you. It makes sense. Don't go and pick something though where you're a cop. It's just not going to work. It's going to be hard for you also to believe the lines that you're saying, and you're a little bit overextending yourself, because also that's something that you wouldn't get cast for. Try and think of what you would actually get cast for. That's the easiest way to think about it. Another thing that actors will try to do, though, sometimes is they'll overextend themselves even more. So, for example, an actor that should be going and choosing right now that monologue where they're in their classroom and they're just talking to their best friend about the homework that they don't like, that actor might go instead and say, no, I'm going to do this monologue, the one where, you know, their parents died, their house just burned down, everything's going wrong, nothing's going good in their life. That type of monologue is an extremely hard monologue to do. And that's an overextension of the actor if they decide, hey, you know, I'm just going to work on this, especially if you're a new actor. Again, it's like that concert pianist example. If you're going to want to be a concert pianist, but you've been practicing for 2 weeks, you barely have your scales down, maybe you have a chord here or there that you can now play, but now your instructor says, hey, we're going to go and do this really hard Beethoven piece. You'd go and say, whoa, 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 hey, hang on, I still gotta work this out. I'm not that great yet. I'm still practicing. Working on that Beethoven song will be an overextension of the pianist. For you, trying to go and work on this monologue where, you know, your family just died and all this terrible stuff is going on, that's an overextension. Maybe later on you build up and you work to that, just like the person starting out can eventually go and do a Beethoven song. But right now, you're just starting out, you're practicing. Pick something more relatable to you. You'll get more out of it. You'll get so much more out of this process if you can make it more relatable to you. In terms of practice, how long to do this for? Ideally, the best that you can get from this is if you do it about an hour for either the morning or the afternoon. You get a solid hour practice in, and then you get 1 hour in the evening. That's the best way that you can do this. Remember, it's a solid hour, so that means you're actually focused on what you're doing. You're not getting too distracted because your phone's there recording you. Like, oh, let me go on Instagram or let me go on Facebook. It's not a solid hour. A solid hour is when you're actually focused 100% on what it is that you're actually doing. So make sure you get an hour in the day and then an hour in the evening. Alrighty, so I hope you guys liked this video. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel so you can be up to date with everything. Give this video a thumbs up if it helped you guys. Also, I'll be leaving the 10-hour acting masterclass down in the description below, and also in the comment section if you guys are interested in that. It takes about 2 minutes or so to sign up, as well as the 10 acting resume templates. Alrighty, see you guys next time. Bye, guys.